April 1, 2026. A cruise ship departs from Ushuaia, Argentina. Around 150 people from...
For the first few days, everything was fine. People met, enjoyed themselves, and parties were held. No one had any idea that this trip would soon turn into a nightmare.
About 5 days after the trip began, a 70-year-old Dutch passenger suddenly developed a fever, headache, and mild diarrhea.
He went to the ship's doctor, but after a day or two, he also started having difficulty breathing. Suddenly, his condition worsened so much that on April 11, 2026, he died on board the ship.
This is my sad duty to inform you that one of our passengers suddenly passed away last night.
The captain continues to address the passengers, looking somber. What was the cause behind this death? No one knew.
Passengers didn't pat much attention, and people continued socializing and enjoying themselves. On April 24,
The deceased passenger's wife disembarked with his body. From here, she traveled to South Africa.
On April 25, 2026, she was about to board a flight from South Africa to Amsterdam when her condition suddenly worsened. She was deplaned. She suddenly collapsed at the airport, and on April 26, she also passed away.
Meanwhile, people on the ship also started falling ill. On April 28, 2026, a German woman's condition worsened.
Just 4 days later, on May 2, she also passed away. Once again, no one knew why the passengers on this ship were dying one by one.
On May 2, 2026, the World Health Organization was informed about this entire crisis. Tests were conducted.
And then the diagnosis came out.
Hantavirus.
Hantavirus, deadly hantavirus, the hantavirus cruise ship tragedy.
This is a virus for which there is no vaccine, no cure, and its death rate is so high that it can kill half of the infected people. Today, this virus has spread on a ship that has been stuck in the middle of the sea for days. News headlines are being made all over the world.
And no one wants to allow this ship to dock in their country. Health officials around the world are racing to contain a deadly hantavirus outbreak.
Nowadays, there's another thing in the world.
Friends, the most frightening thing is that hantavirus is not a new virus. Scientists have known about it for almost 70 years, when it first emerged during the Korean War, where thousands of soldiers fell ill. But still, no cure has been found for it. Hantavirus is not actually a single virus. It's an entire family of viruses found in rats, and they spread from there. Different types of rats carry different types of hantavirus. And in humans, these viruses cause 2 types of diseases.
The first is hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome, which mainly affects people in Asia and Europe. In this, kidneys fail, and internal bleeding occurs in the body.
The second disease is hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which spreads in North and South America. In this, fluid fills inside the lungs, and people have difficulty breathing, and eventually, the person dies from suffocation. Its mortality rate is reported to be up to 50%. And the most disturbing thing is that despite being such a deadly virus, no FDA or WHO-approved vaccine has been developed to date. Forget about a vaccine, there's no proven antiviral treatment either. If you get infected, doctors can only provide supportive care. This can give you some relief, but your immune system will have to fight this virus.
This virus was first discovered in modern history during the Korean War in the 1950s. In this war, American soldiers were fighting in South Korea, and suddenly, more than 3,000 soldiers fell victim to a strange disease. First, they had a high fever, headache, and vomiting, and then their kidneys stopped working. About 15% of these soldiers died. Doctors named it Korean hemorrhagic fever, but they couldn't understand if it was a disease or a chemical weapon. It took almost 30 years to solve this mystery.
Around 1980, a South Korean virologist, Dr. Ho Wang Lee, identified that this disease is caused by a virus found in rats.
And he named this virus after the Hantan River, which flows in South and North Korea.
But the most dramatic story of hantavirus came in 1993. In May 1993, 10 people from the Navajo,
A mysterious epidemic in the southwestern United States that has U.S. medical investigators baffled.
The disease has already killed 10 people. It strikes suddenly and can kill in a day. The surprising thing was that all these people were quite young and healthy.
But they suddenly fell ill, and all of them had similar symptoms. First, a flu-like fever, then suddenly fluid filling in the lungs.
And then death. Initially, their mortality rate was 75%. That means 3 out of every 4 infected people died.
Despite many efforts, scientists were unable to crack this disease. And then, tribal elders told scientists that they already knew about this disease.
It was recorded in the oral history of these Navajo tribes that when there is heavy rain, there is a bumper crop of piñon pine nuts. This is the food of rats, which they eat, and their population increases. And due to this increasing overpopulation, this disease spreads among rats.
This information proved very important for scientists. When they examined the rats, on June 16, the same virus was also found in the rats. They estimated that it was a new type of hantavirus, and the cause of its outbreak in 1993 was El Niño. The same El Niño that I also talked about in the heatwave video. In 1991-92, a major El Niño occurred,
which caused more rain there. There was a higher yield of nut crops, and the rat population suddenly exploded.
The more rats, the higher the chance of a virus breakout, and the higher the chance that this virus will come into contact with a human and start spreading. For a long time, scientists believed that hantavirus disease was not present in India. But between 2005 and 2000, when researchers checked for hantavirus-specific antibodies in 661 people from different risk groups,
this was proof that some people in India were already infected, and this rate was even higher among those who lived or worked near rats.
But the interesting thing was that at this point in time, scientists still believed that hantavirus spreads directly from rats to humans.
It cannot spread from one person to another. But in 1996, an outbreak in southern Argentina broke this assumption.
The cause of this outbreak was the Andes virus, a strain of the hantavirus family that had a very dangerous ability. It could spread from human to human.
Today, among the entire hantavirus family, this is the only virus strain with confirmed human-to-human transmission.
But the good news is that it doesn't spread through the air like COVID or flu. It requires very close and prolonged physical contact.
That means you stay very close to another person for a long time, share the same bed, or have contact with their bodily fluids.
Or when someone is caring very closely for an infected person. And here's another twist. Scientists documented in Argentina that
some infected people can infect many more people. But here too, the good thing is that the transmission window of this virus is very short. It only spreads for 1 day at the beginning of the illness. So friends, by now you must have understood that the cruise ship I talked about earlier.
The Andes strain had also spread there. The same strain where human-to-human transmission is possible. According to the information received so far, in March 2026, a Dutch couple went on a birdwatching tour in Ushuaia. Now look at the chance. If they had returned to the ship 2 or 3 days later, this virus might not have spread. But they boarded this ship immediately after the tour, and here the infection spread to other people. By May 10, 2026, a total of 10 cases had emerged on this ship, and 3 people had already died.
And currently 4 patients are hospitalized, 1 in ICU in Johannesburg, South Africa, 2 in different hospitals in the Netherlands, and 1 in Switzerland.
For several days, this ship remained anchored near the coast of the West African country Cape Verde, but this country refused to give permission to dock it.
And on May 10, 2026, this ship finally docked at Tenerife Island. Now this ship is being evacuated, and it remains to be. The ship's crew also included 2 Indians, and they have now gone to the Netherlands with the ship and are in quarantine there, although no symptoms have been observed in them.
But amidst all this, the biggest question that must be coming to your mind, and mine too, is, will hantavirus become the next pandemic?
Now look, friends, I am not an astrologer. Anything can happen, but its chance is very low. And the reason for this is 2 factors.
First, its transmission window is so short, only 1 day. So, unlike COVID, there is no need for 14 days of quarantine here.
If an infected person does not meet anyone else for 2 days, the chance of transmission becomes very, very low. Second, unlike COVID or flu, it is not an airborne disease.
So the chance of it spreading is even lower. It only spreads through human-to-human close contact. So far, no
The World Health Organization has also stated that the overall risk of this virus to the global population is low. But this incident is a big wake-up call, because its mortality rate, death rate, can be up to 50%. So for those who get infected, it is extremely deadly. Moreover, it also has a connection with El Niño.
And this year, there is a possibility of a very big El Niño. So the question arises, how to protect yourself from this virus?
First of all, you need to seal your house so that rats cannot enter the house. It is best not to leave any place or gap in the house through which rats can enter. If you are going to a place where there are many rats, such as a storage room, warehouse, or old closed rooms, then wear an N95 mask or gloves.
If you see rat droppings anywhere, then you need to be even more careful. But the most basic point here is hygiene.
Don't leave food open around you. Dispose of garbage properly and remove all things that attract rats.
Authorities report a sudden surge in hantavirus cases.
This virus has remained undetected for decades.
But the truth is that this virus has been silently, and the only difference is that you didn't know about it before, but now you do. Without a vaccine and cure, you now have the best weapon: awareness and prevention.
If you want to join the next session of the AI Masterclass, you can click.
Thank you very much.